Welcome, everybody, to episode 6 of the Pinnacle Combat Sports Podcast. We're doing it a day early today because it's supposed to be a nice weekend and get a little jump on things. I'm the host, Jim. I'm here with my buddy, Dan. Dano, how are things going?
What's up, dude? What's going on? Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. This is good. I actually like the whole Friday night vibe. What do you think?
I think we could do it going forward for sure. I think it's probably a better idea, especially with the time difference. For you, you can enjoy the weekend. It's kind of an easier thing on a Friday night to do.
Well, I'm
I
just
like it.
thinking. I'm just thinking summer-wise. If we want the weekends to like wake up early, not have anything to do, no responsibility, just go do our summer activities. Some Fridays might be good. I'm down with keeping it Saturdays unless we have something going on. But yeah, it's a little
Or-
change of pace and it keeps me out of the bar tonight. So there you go.
No, it's good. That's good. But you're right, though. It's going to be a hot girl summer, Tim. We did speak about this.
Oh yeah,
So it's one of those
I can't wait. It is going to be a hot girl summer.
81 in Portland. You said?
91,
Oh, Jesus. Cool.
91
All right. Well,
today. I'm already
that's crazy.
burning. My skin. I'm a lobster today. I was outside
Oh, Jesus.
all day. So yeah. All right, let's get into it. I don't want to banter too much. The first thing I wanted to say, unfortunately, we lost somebody to when was it? The other day in
Yeah, it was Wednesday.
MMA history. His name was Art One Glove Jimerson. And for those who don't know, he fought Hoist Gracie in UFC One in November of 1993, and I believe he was the first ever UFC submission. Right, Dan?
Loss, yeah. But he was the first fighter ever submitted in UFC history, right? So that was UFC one against Royce Gracie. I think it was the first person he submitted, I
Yeah,
believe.
that's wild. And his
It's still
gimmick,
history.
his gimmick, his nickname One Glove. He would come in. I think his left hand he would have in a boxing glove. In his right hand he
Yes.
wouldn't. So he would jab you
We
with
just
the
have it
boxing
taped.
glove and set up his right hand to knock you out. That was like his whole thing.
Yeah, except he couldn't defend submissions.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Well, who
With
could back then, right? Especially Hoist Gracie.
well, definitely that was the thing though. It's like man, I understand the whole boxing thing, but just you never know. Imagine if you came out with both hands taped up,
Yeah.
but that's I mean, RIP to a legend either way. It
Yeah,
is
yeah, we
it's
got to start.
significant news.
Yeah, we have to start with that because that's a big one. So yeah, rest in peace, Art Jimerson, 60 years old, and yeah, that's a bummer. Um, let's get into this next one because you told me about this one right before we hit record. We have Lomachenko versus Kambosos this weekend. I think Sunday. You said right?
Yeah, I didn't even know about it. That's a great fight, man.
What do you? I think they're doing it in Australia too. What do you think about that? I mean, you know more about Lomachenko. Like I said, I've never watched Lomachenko yet, so I'll have to try to catch this if I can. What do you think?
I, wa- I just wonder the weights if it's a normal. That's the only thing I don't know is how much one's moving up to meet the other, if at all. I would imagine
It's
Lomachenko's a smaller fighter, but I don't know
it
for
says
sure.
Kambosos and Lomachenko will finally meet with the vacant IBF lightweight title on the line.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not really sure, man. But it's an interesting fight because they're both really fun to watch in their own way.
Yeah,
So it's gonna be fun to watch their styles clash. I don't really know. I don't know who. I've always loved watching Lomachenko box.
all right, well,
It's always
I'll
been
have to keep an eye out for at least highlights on that fight if I can't catch it live. And seeing is that it's in Australia, I'm not sure what time it starts. I'll try to figure it out, and if I find a link, I'll let you know. That'd be a good one to watch. But the other one we wanted to talk about is, and I didn't realize first of all that this was coming up so quickly, and second of all how significant this fight is. But Tyson Fury and Usyk are fighting May 18th. So I think that's next weekend, next Saturday.
Yeah,
And apparently that's for the undisputed heavyweight championship, which whoever wins, it'll be the first time in the four belt history of the WBC, I think. Or wait, is it well, all of boxing. It's all of them, WBC and all of them, right? That makes it undisputed, right?
I believe.
I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Like WBC has their belt, then you have like WBA and all those other ones I can't remember. But then that's too confusing. They should just make it easy. But anyways, the last time it happened was when Lennox Lewis beat Evander Holyfield in 1999, and there's only been 6 undisputed heavyweight champions in history, I believe.
Well,
So this is
so
a
it's
big fight.
huge. Yeah, no, it's a fight that I think a lot of people have been wanting to see for a long time. 'Cause it feels like that it has been that way. But what do you think about that one? Like, what is the? I don't even know. I know Usyk's obviously not a small guy,
Mm-hmm.
but anyone against Fury is, you're giving up a lot of significant attributes. Especially someone what is he, 6'9"?
Yeah, he's huge.
Yeah, so I wonder. I
Well,
wonder if that'll be a factor, if at all.
I heard that Tyson Fury lost a lot of weight since his last fight. So I haven't seen any pictures of him recently. But all I know of Usyk is he's 21-0, so he's not as um I don't know. He doesn't have as many fights. I guess I don't know what the adjective would be,
I know what you mean.
but I
I mean, it
mean,
feels like he's been around a bit.
yeah, from what I've heard, he's amazing. Again, like I'm not, and I feel bad talking about it because I don't really have much of an opinion because I haven't been watching boxing like I used to when I was younger. And I
Sure.
think by doing this podcast and continuing to talk about these things it'll help me do that more, obviously, and I'll check on these things just because it is interesting. I think boxing is getting a lot better, and we talked about that. But yeah, this one's gonna be a good one. I'll try to find a link for this
And
also.
also, it looks like this one. It looks like this one will be on ESPN Plus, which you can watch. So just have to figure out what time it's going to air.
Yeah, I think is it a pay per view though? It's
I,
got to
I
be a pay
that
per
I don't
view.
know. I gotta look that up. But no, a lot of times, I mean, it could be different with Kambosos involved, but Lomachenko, he's fought a lot of times on ESPN and ESPN Plus because he's not like a huge draw. That could have changed like recently,
Yeah.
but he's always just been that just a phenomenal boxer, but not really
Mm-hmm.
a huge draw. So they put him on free a lot and kind of just showcase him that way. But it's like, but
Yeah,
it's
but
kind of a
the
shame too
Tyson
because he's fun.
the Tyson Fury fight's definitely pay per view.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll look at it. Maybe it's not, but it just kind of seems like it might be.
Yeah, it should be good. Well, those are two good boxing fights that are happening in the next week. Let's get into UFC a little bit. There are two fights that were just announced this week that I want to bring up and get your opinion on.
Was a bit slow though, huh? With the news on fight announcements. I know
Yeah, it
there's a
slowed
lot
down a
coming
little
up,
bit. Yeah.
but what were the two that you had
The
mentioned?
first one I wanted to get your opinion on, which I wasn't sure how I felt about this when it first came out, but from what he's said recently, I'm looking forward to it now. So that fight is Corey Sandhagen and Umar Nurmagomedov. And the reason I got into it was because Corey said that it is his goal during this fight camp to figure out the Nurmagomedov team and what their weaknesses are. And Corey's a great fighter.
Oof.
If there's anybody that can at least find some chink in their armor, I would think he might be one of the guys to do it. What do you think?
He's got to land that jump knee again. Um, no, he's super dangerous everywhere, so that could be a really fun fight. I just don't know we'll see how much of the grappling advantage Nurmagomedov has against Sandhagen, because it's just because if they were straight grappling, it's one thing, but the fact that they're striking at a distance and it's like they both are really good at doing that, it could just end up being most of that. I don't really know. I don't know. I kind of wonder to see how that'll be.
Yeah, and Corey's really good at keeping distance, and creating the space that he needs to bring the fight where he wants it. But
Sure.
Nurmagomedovs, they're really good at doing that as well by putting your back up against the cage and putting you on your butt. So I could see it going either way. And like you said, we talked earlier before we pressed record. Yeah, they did have this fight booked as a Fight Night main event for August of 2023. And I think Nurmagomedov had to withdraw for some reason. I'm not sure exactly why. But
Yeah, I couldn't remember who it was.
but Corey said at the time, um, you know, Dana White in the whoever's making the matchup said that would be like it would be a number one contender fight, and I guess they acted the same this time around. So it might not be a number one contender fight, but this would put him right up there in the top three for the winner. So that's exciting too.
Oh, for sure. It's just and I mean, it doesn't. I mean, take all that out of the way too. Put that all aside. This is the fight people are going to want to watch and want to see.
Yeah,
Rather they know before it happens live or not. Like that's going to be a really fun fight.
yeah, it's gonna be
So
great.
we'll see how it's a bold statement to say something like that. So we'll see, because it's like he's he's obviously, Habib's obviously, you're the bet, like, what would you even say? How would you even phrase it? But he's the top dog of that grapple and that whole team. But is it Umar, right? His first name
Yep.
is bantamweight.
Yeah.
He can do a lot of things striking wise. That's a lot different than anything Habib really would attempt. That's he can't do it. It's just not some. Habib was just great with his boxing defense mainly, and then he would get in on you, and that was it. So, and he would just rinse repeat every time, because there were times where he'd have uh, whatever it would be, double digit takedowns, but it's like it wouldn't matter. He's gonna keep getting it, so it wouldn't matter that you're getting up. But Umar kind of does. He can do pretty much anything. So I'm just kind of curious to see how the grappling goes. Because if it stays on the feet, then it's just going to be, it could just be a really fun kickboxing fight.
Yeah, and what I think you're kind of getting at with Khabib's team is that all these guys, like you said about Umar, they all bring their own version to what Khabib has already brought to the table. So they
Hmm.
have their own skills, and then you add what Khabib is teaching them with what he's best at. I don't know. It's almost like a
Come on,
super
man.
soldier or something, you know?
Plus, he's teaching them how to think. Like, think like a champion, train like a champion, like prepare like a champion.
Yeah,
Because he's always been doing that. Like, there's different versions of that. It's about like the work ethic. It's about the hours put in. He put the time in. So it's like, it kind of speaks for itself. He doesn't have to say much.
and I know we've
But
talked about their Muslim discipline too. That adds a
it's a
whole
whole nother
different
level
dynamic. Yeah,
of
exactly.
discipline. Of discipline. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
So,
so I don't know, Corey. Good luck, buddy. I want to see a good fight, and I think either way we're gonna
hell
get
yeah.
that. Um, so
And
that's
he's a whole nother level of discipline himself in his own right. So it's like all these athletes are like that for the most part.
yeah,
There's probably still some that maybe fuck off a bit, but for the most part, it's not like it was. Like most these guys are professional athletes and they treat their body that way, but especially when they're in camps. So it's like, yeah, there's outliers and stuff, and they probably they shouldn't be doing it, but they do it anyway and get by. But they're all doing it the right way. They treat it like that.
yeah. Those guys at the top, top five level, and we talked about this again in past episodes, but any inch you can get ahead of your opponent, whether it be you hire a really good nutritionist, you have a weight cutting team, you have a strength training person, you have a boxing person, separate people that you bring in that just specify in what they're best at, and then even bring in other fighters that emulate the opponent that you're going to fight in the next 2-3 months. Like, these guys are, it's a puzzle and a math problem, and they're, any inch they can get, they'll do it. So it's not like back in the day, it's like basketball too. Like back in the 80s, the whole locker room was partying. And now they just go home and they go to the gym, and it's like a normal job that they're very strict about, and they're strict about their diet and their, who they date, and, it's not like it used to be. It's the same thing with UFC.
For the most part, yes.
For the most part, unless you're a John Jones character, and
You never know. You just never know. But that's for another day.
All right, the other fight I wanted to bring up before we get into this fight night that's tomorrow that I'm really excited about. They just announced Jared Cannonier versus Nasruddin Imavov. And the reason I was really excited about this is because I've seen Imavov fight a couple times, and he's very impressive. But Jared Cannonier, man, that dude, that's like a brick wall in front of you, man. This is going to be a good fight. I'm looking forward to it. What do you think right off the bat? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, he doesn't give ground easy. That should be a fun fight because it's really Imavov is really skilled. If I remember correctly, he's a striker, right?
Yeah.
Is that his main?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he throws some wild kicks.
He seems pretty well rounded though.
Oh, definitely. You have to be when you're at these levels now. Like the UFC, like especially if you want to be ranked in your division. I mean, you have to be pretty well rounded. It's not like it used to be.
Another thing I didn't mention, this might change. So before your thoughts, this might change something. Is Cannonier tore his MCL not too long ago. I think it says, where does it say? This past December.
Okay. An MCL, right?
Yeah, so it's not as bad as an ACL, but I guess he was cleared to start training in March, and they offered him Paulo Costa at 301. So instead of Sean Strickland, it could have been Cannonier. But he had to turn it down because that wouldn't be a long enough fight camp for that fight. That's what I'm reading here, at least. So he's coming off an MCL injury. So he took some time off for that. And so I don't know how much that changes your opinion on the fight, but I think that's good information.
Oh, for sure. But let's see.
The killer gorilla.
I know. No, I kind of lean towards him winning, but it wouldn't surprise me to see it go the other way. But that's kind of my initial reaction would be. I would imagine Cannonier would just win. Because when is this fight? When is this fight taking place exactly? Is it like?
Yeah, June 8th. It's the headliner, and Louisville.
Okay,
Kentucky.
It is a headline. Okay, it's nice. It's a headline, so we know it's 5 rounds. That's kind of what I see. I could see it being like just Cannonier has been there and done that with the champion, like at that level already.
Yeah.
I could see him winning a decision based on it being a 5-round fight where he kind of has already prepared for that and has already been there. Where Imavov is very, very skilled, but he hasn't been in that position quite yet. I don't know if I don't know if this is his first headline. It might be.
Probably is. I'm guessing. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly.
He may have headlined another free card, but it's either way. It's a fight that I could see Cannonier winning, based on that championship level he's already competed at.
Yeah.
And has faced again. He's faced some stiff competition up there.
Yeah, the who's who. Yeah.
Seriously. So, I mean, it's 3 different weight classes. So, I'm not saying who's who of every weight class, but I mean, he's he's competed in 3 weight classes that he got to probably an ideal one he would agree on, right? The one he's at now.
Yeah,
He just
definitely.
seems like he's like super healthy.
Yeah, that dude's
Uh,
like built like a Greek statue. It's
Seriously, yeah,
crazy.
he really is. Which is wild when you see like photos of, because you can see the resemblance, but you wouldn't think if you just saw those photos of those, you would think they were 2 different guys.
Yeah.
The heavyweight candidate and middleweight. I
Yeah.
mean, it's you know, but either way, he's a fighter that I enjoy watching. So because he's fought, like you said, a who's who of that division, mainly middleweight. So
And I would
that's
assume
a
that that would
good fight.
bring either one of them up to like maybe one more fight and then a title shot, you would think?
They're right there, especially it all depends on what happens, right? Like there's certain fighters that they get their next win that kind of could get right back in the mix. Like Strickland would be a good example. Like you could see him winning a fight coming up, regardless of who it is. We know who it is, but like regardless of who it is, you could see him winning a fight and then potentially getting a big fight thrown a little sooner, maybe, than others.
Yeah, and the other cool thing about this sport too, I was just thinking when you were saying that is it's there's a lot of moving parts because it's not always about winning, it's also sometimes about how you win. So if one of these guys wins in extraordinary fashion, it could, rocket them to the top really quick. And we've seen that with a handful. I mean, look at Max Holloway. Like
Oh,
before
100%.
that fight, he was. I feel like a lot of people weren't talking about Max, and maybe that's one of the reasons why he took that fight as well. But now it's like, he's the one of the number one guys that people are talking about because of how he won that fight.
Absolutely.
And
Also, it's
that sets him up for pretty much whatever he wants, which is great for him.
oh yeah, and it also you could throw in people that lose around you too. Is a big. It could determine who you fight and how soon you do get that next shot.
Yeah, yeah.
Like certain guys around you that are above you, that the upsets happen, man. So the guy that you say the number 2 or number 3 guys facing off against a number 7 or for whatever reason, you know what I mean.
Well,
And then whatever.
that's a perfect segue into tonight, or not tonight's, tomorrow night's fight card, because for the co-main event we have Joaquin Buckley against Nursultan Ruzabayev, who I'm pretty sure fought on the same card like 2 months ago, right?
It was recent. It had to have been yeah, it was very recent. I can't remember
And I thought they
which
were on the same
card it
card or
was.
like 1 week apart or something like that. They both fought very recently.
Oh, for sure. I know Buckley. It makes sense because it's his hometown, but I know they both were pretty recent there. But this is an
So
interesting fight too.
Ruzabayev's last fight was March 30th, and
Okay.
Joaquin Buckley's last fight, same card. Yep, he fought Vicente
Oh,
Luque.
good call, Jim.
Yep, same card. So there you go. That's exactly what you're talking about. The people that win or lose around you could also force a matchup later down the
Yeah.
line, especially how you win, right? It's exactly what
Oh
happened
yeah. Oh,
and why we have
absolutely.
this fight tomorrow night. So why don't we
The
get
one that
into
just
that?
randomly materialized. Yeah.
And we'll actually, why don't we just start with that fight? I know we usually start with the main, but we're already talking about it. I mean, Joaquin Buckley, dude, how in the world do either of these guys make 170? Can we start there?
Dude, Buckley's a beast. Yeah, he's a big fellow. It's
Dude, did
but
you see that? Did you see that video that he?
Rozbayev's like 6'4", right?
Oh, he's huge. I don't know. Let me see. I have it right here. So he is. Does it say here? It's gotta.
It's around there. Has to be.
It
He's a
doesn't
big dude.
say on his UFC thing for some reason. It just has his record.
Let's see.
But he's huge. He's way bigger than taller at
Six
least.
five,
He's
six
six
five, Jim.
five. Damn.
Wow. But anyway, you were saying there's a video.
Oh, did you see the video that I posted or reposted from UFC of Joaquin Buckley shadow boxing out in front of the St. Louis Arch?
I don't know if I saw that.
Well, if you do, it's on UFC's Instagram, and he just looks jacked. Like there's
Oh yeah,
no fat on him whatsoever. He's so ready and pumped to be in his hometown, St. Louis, fighting this weekend. He can't wait.
he's fun to root for. He's a cool dude. Like, not to take anything away from Rosbayev because you could easily see him winning in the fight. He's talented in his own right, but Buckley's just fun to root for if you ask me. So I'm in.
Yeah,
It's gonna be it's gonna be a good fight.
Ruzbayev has a really, really good chance of winning this fight, though. I was really impressed with his last fight on that same card with Buckley. He won pretty quickly too, and he made it look really easy, which is why, well, both of them did, which is why they're able to fight like 2 months later. So that's going to be a great one. But let's get into the main event. Let's start there, and then we'll talk about some undercard fights and stuff like that. Derek Lewis and Rodrigo Nascimento.
I mean, hey, it's one of those. It's another one of those fights where it's no disrespect to who they're fighting, but it's about if Derek Lewis is fighting him in. Like I want to watch that dude fight too.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter who he's fighting. Like it's just like you've seen it. Like he's just like, especially after the fight. He has some of the funny. He has like two. He has like some of the funniest moments that you you could imagine. Like
Yeah.
after a fight, like
My balls was hot. And then also what's the
I
other one?
understand.
Oh yeah, that one. And then he was on someone was remotely interviewing him and he had the headphones on and he looks over, he's like, Bob, I gotta take a shit. And then the guy's like, hey Derek. He's like, oh hey, what's going on? Hey, what's up? He's crazy.
It's just Nascimento. He isn't he heavy? I believe he's heavy striking base, so it should be a fun fight. Actually,
Yeah.
so it looks like he kind of goes for submissions
He's
as
11
well.
and,
So
11 and 1 with two knockout wins, 6 by submission. So he's more of a submission guy.
yeah, his fighting style says jiu-jitsu. Like he probably leans more that. So that'll be something to watch. See if I wonder how that'll go.
So either
Do you
Derek
know
is
who I'm
going
rooting for?
to Lewis is going to take him out in the first round, or he's going to have a difficult 5 rounds. It's going to be 5 rounds, right? Oh yeah, he said Buckley should. He wanted Buckley to headline, so he didn't have to do 5 rounds.
That's funny. I would have no problem with that.
Yeah, Derek Lewis doesn't think he needs 3, so I don't know. Might as well give it to him, right?
Plus, I would argue that that has more like implications in the division. Speaking of
Oh
Buckley and
yeah,
Rozbayev, so it's like I'd rather see those fights 5 rounds. So it's like why not even have that 5 rounds? I like 5 round fights, but fights
yeah.
that get closer to being more rank fights, title contender fights, those type of. I just think they all should be 5 rounds for that.
So what are the other fights that you're looking forward to? Any dark
on this
horses?
on this card.
Yeah.
Well, the first obvious one is Metafield and Ulberg will be. I love that matchup. That should be fun. Um, Diego Ferreira and Mateus Rebecki. I don't know if I pronounce that right, but that's another one. I mean, those are right away. They jump out right away, and then we talked about that before we started recording. There's also that undefeated, albeit it's like he's new to MMA, but doesn't matter when you're stopping people in like 4 seconds, in 3 seconds.
I know,
That
right?
Cuban heavyweight,
Yeah.
Cuban heavyweight, that's 5-0. But like I was telling you before, his UFC debut was 18 seconds, and then the previous 2 fights before that, was 4-3, so it was 7 seconds in two fights.
Jesus.
So 6'7" heavyweight to fear, I would imagine. That's someone to watch.
And like you
Um,
said earlier, you know, if he, well, he's fighting a guy named Waldo, so he's got to find Waldo first. He's got to find his chin,
yeah,
and
it's
then
all right there.
yeah. But that I mean, if he's really that good and he knocks out another guy in seconds, let's say, you know, I mean, Derek Lewis is 12 and Nascimento's 15. If you're really looking to push new guys in the heavyweight division, you might throw him up with the number 15 guy or something if he wins in that kind of fashion.
Absolutely, you never know. I want to say this dude had it says Taekwondo background, but I'm kind of curious to see what his background was prior and even to UFC, maybe after Taekwondo. I don't know because it just seems I don't know. There might be
Hmm.
some a little more else there with this guy, but we'll see. You never know. There's going to be at that weight. There's always going to be upsets, but he is 35, so he's probably not going to be someone who's not going to want to be taking those big fights.
Oh, he's
He's probably gonna.
35?
Yeah, he's not exactly young.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
He's gonna. That's why I'm wondering if he must have had a career in something. Um, maybe it was Taekwondo the whole time, but
Hmm.
I don't know if you'd be doing it for that long, right? I feel like he has. I just feel like he has some other striking.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Huh. Interesting.
I'll have to look that up, Jim. That'll be for future.
Yeah.
But anything that jumps out to you?
Well, there's a lot of big names on the card, which is cool.
There really is. There is.
Bruce Leroy, who we mentioned last time. But that's gonna be
Oh
a
yeah,
tough matchup for that guy's that Woodson. He's really good, and he's like, uh, that's his
very
name,
good
right?
boxer.
Woodson. Yeah, very good
Very good
boxer.
hand.
Very
Yeah, very
strong.
good.
Will stand in front of you and throw. That's gonna be a scary opponent right there. But we'll see. I like that fight. And then you were talking about Chase Hooper earlier. What were you saying about him? Because he's a long, lanky dude, and
It's a tough fight for him though.
he always finds a way to submit guys, and it's like I don't know. It's so funny because he doesn't look at all like a dangerous guy, but he's a dangerous guy. He's
No,
to be like a guy you'd see at like I don't know, anywhere on the street at the grocery store, and you wouldn't think twice about starting something with him if he like pissed you off, but he would he'd put it on you if you did, you know?
especially on the. I mean, his jujitsu is it's he's shown it time and time again. It's just like you worry against these guys that are like that dude's a pretty heavy hitter. That dude, I think he's out with Team Alpha Male. I believe it's what's his nickname? It's like Vladdy Claus or something like that.
Yes, Slava Claus.
Slava Claus, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, uh, that dude's going in there for looking for a knockout. So it'll be a it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
But we've seen Chase Hooper walk through some punches somehow. Hopefully he doesn't have to. Like hopefully he can
Yeah.
be defensive and then put him on the ground and choke him out or something. But I'm not rooting for anybody. I want to see a great fight. I just know Chase Hooper's name. I've probably seen this other guy fight, but I'm not sure. Um, so yeah, yeah. Chase Hooper's kind of fun because it's just this weird, lanky kid that comes in and just chokes people out, and I'm like, that's kind of awesome. Let's go. I want to root for that kid. You know?
Oh, he's easy, very easy to root for. He seems like a really good dude, and like he's just like a funny. You get to see he just gets it. Like he's just a funny dude. But he's a badass. Like you said, like he probably deals with a lot of people that are like kind of like probably give him like a weird look when he says he does what he does for a living.
Yeah.
But
They think he's
no, he's
lying.
fun.
They're like, no
Yeah,
way. Yeah. Okay. All right, buddy.
Like, yeah, you find out the hard way. But another person on the prelims that I really like watching fight. I think he's like a up and comer is Jake Hadley.
Jake Hadley.
Yeah, he's a
Oh,
good
Jake
fighter.
Hadley. Yeah,
Yeah,
an England guy. We
he'd be
need more
someone to look
England
at.
guys. I like that.
I know you could throw him on those cards coming up. Jeez. But yeah, like you said, there it really is it's a card that's full of um even someone who's doesn't have to be a hardcore fan, but someone that regularly watches fights. It's a lot of names that people would recognize.
Yeah, a lot of good names for a free card. It's going to be
Very
great.
much so. Yeah. So it is in my opinion, it's a very good fight. Good fight card.
Yeah, it's not one that's like a huge in terms of like high rankings, but it's I think it's great matchups too. I think they have some great matchups here too.
Yeah, we'll get into it next week, but even next fight night's very good as I look at it real quick. But
Well, let's pull it up. You
yeah,
got it pulled up? Let me pull it up.
Barboza and Murphy, that's a real good fight. Main event.
Well, you know how I
And then
feel about
Carlson
Barboza.
Harris. Oh, he's unreal, man. He's unreal.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So it's like there's a lot of good fights on that card as well,
The return of
especially
Angela
as you look
Hill,
down. Oh yeah,
Magomedov. Yeah, it should be good.
for sure. But I'm looking forward to this one just to stay on it here and let's see. What do we see if we could predict what it would be? What are you looking as fight of the night, Jim? Fight of the night. What do
Fight of
you
the
say?
night. Honestly, I think Joaquin Buckley and Rosbayov. I think they're going to bring fireworks, especially
That's
Joaquin
cool.
Buckley. Yeah, I think he's going to come out with a lot of energy. Other than that, the Manifield fight's probably going to be great. And who knows if we get another 10-second knockout from this heavyweight Despain.
He'll get a performance bonus at least. But
Yeah, right? Yeah. What do you think? You think there's any other ones that maybe we should? What's the fight that we should circle? What do you think we should be looking forward to the most besides the main
I
event?
I kind of agreed with you. That would be my first, and then after that, I really like Menafield Oldberg. I'm kind of curious to see how that goes down.
And who did Alberg fight last time? Let's see. His last fight was Young, so that was in September. So yeah,
Yeah, so he's been on a good streak here in the UFC. So that's a and I just think Menafield is just a real tough fight. He's a that's a yeah. So you figure looking at he submitted was it Jimmy Crute, right? That
yeah,
tank from
yeah,
Australia,
yeah, yeah.
but then he had a draw. That's the only thing in his record that really jumps out. Other than a win, and then Olberg is on a streak in his own right. So
Yeah, Menafield
at
has
least looking at the latest five,
10 wins by knockout, 10 first round finishes. I'm assuming those were the knockouts. I don't know. But three also by submission. He's 15-3, and I think Alberg is 10-1.
oh, okay. And I know via most by knockout. I know his last win was by submission, but
Yeah, six
I,
wins
I
by knockout, two by submission, five first round finishes.
I could see that fight being one of the more exciting fights on that card. Uh, Come fight night, I think that one's going to show
Yeah, I agree.
real show out. Yes, that'll be a fun one. But I originally agreed with you.
Dude, I can't
There's
wait.
multiple fights like that. There's multiple fights like that. So it'll be cool to watch. We'll also have to we should do another flashback. Speaking of, that was fun to do.
Yeah,
we should think about it in the
we'll
next one.
we'll talk about that after we hit stop on this. We don't want to give away too much just yet.
Ooh, I almost did. All right, good. Good thing you said that.
Yeah, don't bring anything up
All right.
just yet. We want it to be a surprise. So yeah, why don't we just end that here? We'll end this episode here. There's a couple things in the in my mind that I want to run by you, obviously, to in the next coming month or two, that we could add to the show to make it a little bit more sexy, if you will. And then I've been trying my best on my front to do a lot of the Instagram stuff, and I try to have at least a small handful of stories every day to keep people, first of all, excited about the fights coming up, but also to help out some of the other pages that are on there, and link up some people, and create a little bit of a MMA community, and hope that people follow back, and help us out as well. It's slow going, but I enjoy it, and we're having fun, like I said. So I'm not in any rush, man. I'm not trying to get famous or anything. So whatever. But yeah, I'll run a couple things by you, and any ideas that you have, man. I'm all ears, man.
Sounds good. We'll talk about it. But we'll think about the next flashback. We'll start there, and then we'll think about adding other things. But I'm looking forward to hearing what you got.
Cool, man.
It's fun. Anything MMA related, I'm in. So
Yeah.
we'll keep it going. It's great.
All right. Well, let's end episode 6 there. For anybody listening, thank you for listening. Thank you for the support. As you heard just now, we do have an Instagram. You can find us on Instagram at @pinnacle_combat. And our channel name on YouTube is exactly the same, at @pinnacle_combat, which you can also find in the bio of our Instagram. I just posted the new, I don't know if you've seen them yet, Dan, but the new posters that UFC have for the Saudi Arabia card and the Michael Chandler Conor McGregor fight. Do you see those?
So excited for the Saudi Arabia card in
Yeah.
general, that card. But yeah, no, obviously, I mean, June is incredible.
All of
Uh,
June is insane. Yeah.
and it kicks off crazy June 1st.
Yeah.
So that's a very fitting time of the first pay-per-view being June 1st, and one of the last days of the month, ending with a a pay-per-view headlined by McGregor and Chandler. That's insane. It's gonna be
Also, now that you
and
say
everything in
that,
between.
June 1st was also supposed to be, and this I just read, so this might be brand new. And June 1st was supposed to be Masvidal Nate Diaz, but they moved it to July because of UFC. They didn't want to go head to head with UFC.
Well, you figure, I would imagine Masvidal and Poirier have always been pretty cool too. So that's kind of conflicting work with them too. Like they wouldn't want to do that to each other also,
Yeah,
you
maybe.
know,
Yeah.
because they were at the same camp for years.
Yeah.
Masvidal's been in Poirier's camps for, man, God knows how many years. So I would imagine it's that too.
Yeah, I figured I was just interested to see that cuz they're probably doing like the early numbers to see how well the show will do, and maybe they're just not getting the numbers that they thought they would based on, how big Poirier is now, and him going for that lightweight championship again. Um but yeah, June is going to be amazing. Uh
I, I
yeah.
don't know why they don't just like piggyback off the weekend and just do it on Sunday, that weekend of that pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Just do it June 2nd. I don't know why you wouldn't do it. I think that'd be a good time to do it, but
What's wrong with
got a
Friday
good
night?
reason.
People can go out Friday night.
I used to love when they used to do that, but I was too young to really, really watch it. So,
Yeah.
but I
Well,
wish they would bring that back more. We talked about that, like
yeah.
boxing included.
And they still do. Boxing does, the top ranked Friday night fights, I'm pretty sure. Usually every week. Um, but yeah,
Plus, honestly, dude, in my opinion, I feel like that could always be once. It could even be now. You never know, but it could get to a level where Dana White would start being like, "All right, Friday nights are mine now too. Like certain seasons, like to avoid certain sports. He's smart. He knows when he would get the specific ratings on a Friday night. Like there's certain times where there's not a lot of sports going on, where he could really do like a double pay-per-view with a free fight night, because you can double dip in certain markets. He could get sell it after sell out in
Yeah.
certain cities. In certain cities, easy.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
you can do like some big ones there. I remember telling you about that time I went to it was was it Thursday night was a Muay Thai event. It was in Vegas. It was a Thursday night was that, and it was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Remember when the UFC did like a triple header?
Oh yeah, didn't they? Wasn't it for International Fight Week where they did?
Yeah, yep.
One night
So
was like the UFC finale for Ultimate Fighter or
I believe that
something.
was Sunday. Yeah, I think that was Sunday. Was it? I can't remember now.
Yeah, it was like a whole weekend of fights. Yeah, it was cool.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
In the middle was the pay-per-view, but like the main one. But man, that was awesome. They should go back to something like that.
yeah. Well, you never know. We'll see. All right, but let's end it there. Let's get to our weekend, Dan. What do you think?
But with these fights,
Let's get to the weekend. Just the weekend in general.
oh,
I'm gonna go on a 2-day vacation. You ready?
where are you going?
I'm just gonna a stay home cation for 2 days on the weekend. Sometimes I like to call the weekends a 2-day vacation.
Oh, that's cool.
I just drink more than I usually do. That's about it.
Seems more peace. It seems more peaceful that way.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you soon. Until next week, thank you guys for listening. Yeah, we got fights tomorrow, so enjoy them, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Appreciate you guys. Enjoy the fights.